Let's see if friggin' notifications go out this time. If they don't go out, that's it. I'm done. Hopefully the notifications came out. I see a light popped in. A couple people. Did you get a notification or did you just happen to trip over me? What's up, Mike? How you doing? Thanks, John. How you doing, man? Okay, so maybe notifications did go out. Hey, I'm a believer. Man, I just finished cleaning out that trailer. That's a bunch of crap. That's no, a person shouldn't be sweeping. A person shouldn't be sweeping a 53-foot trailer with that. Okay? That just ain't right, man. That's a bunch of crap. I had to work for that. Good. You just happened to drop in. Well, I hope it didn't hurt when you landed. So, after busting my ass that hard, I am going to have a refreshing Mountain Dew. Because I'm going to do the dew. Because I don't want to sleep tonight. I don't know. They're still in the bag. I haven't took them out and put them away because I'm all hot and sweaty and I don't want to touch my clean clothes being all hot and sweaty. But I got the AC kicked on high in here. It's probably going to get cold in a minute. My leaf blower quit about halfway through the job. The battery went dead. I'm like, that's weird. So I came in here and looked because when I put the battery back in the charger, it wasn't blinking. I came in here and the power strip, you know how they have the little on-off reset button? It was turned off. So I recharged it. It actually worked enough for me to finish the job. I just had to sweep a little bit up in the corners. Yeah, I earned that dew. But yeah, they obviously have the hoses hooked up backwards on that washer. Hot to cold, cold to hot. So when it did its cold water rinse, it did it in hot water. And they obviously have hot water. My clothes were smoking, man. What's up, David? When are you going in to be a trainer? Well, hopefully, I got to wait to hear from my fleet manager, but I told him I want to go in on, because I believe it's a 4-day class, Tuesday to Friday, so I wanted to go in on that Tuesday, which would be, I was originally going to go home for my anniversary on Sunday the 7th. But because I'm going to do that, I told him, what is that, 7 Sunday, 8 Monday, would be Tuesday the 9th. And supposedly what they say is you start on Tuesday, Friday, when you're done, you pick up a student and you go. So hopefully by that Friday, I'll be rolling out with a student. But then we got to make sure that they have a truck for me too. Yeah, leaf blowers, they work good, man. They really do. It's nicer when the trailer's dry, like this trailer was just running, so it a lot of water in the bottom. It makes it slower because you have to blow the water forward. But when I've got these trailers and had to drive 800 miles or whatever, and they dry out, and it's just dust down in there, or it wasn't for whatever reason it didn't leave all that water, they blow right out nicely. Or you pick up a trailer and it just needs to be blown out. But they sell brooms at Prime. That I don't know if you guys know this, but the bed of the trailer has got ridges in it. About yay deep and about yay wide. It's so air can circulate under the product. Well, at Prime, they sell push brooms that are notched so it fits in those grooves. I always want to buy one, but every time I go in there, it's like, damn, they're like $50-some because somebody sat and cut all those bristles. Because using a regular push broom sucks. I broke my trainer's push broom, pushing so hard to get the bristles to go in between the floor, I snapped the handle right in half. So leaf blower does work good, but you know, sometimes you're out there cleaning it up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, you might not want to run the leaf blower, although it ain't that loud. Bro, you have come so far. I watched you from the beginning. I never drove, always just unloaded. So I know the trailers. I've seen those brooms. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Yeah, yeah, I have come far. I have come pretty far, actually. I actually looked at a couple of my first videos the other day, and I was like, wow, you can tell so uncomfortable. Where now it's just like natural. And, you know, of course, doing the job is more natural than when I first started. Everything was not terrifying, but, you know, oh my God, what's around that corner? Oh my God, what's around that corner? Where is this? Where's that? Now it's all just chill. Like this place I'm going to pick up in the morning, I dropped there today, and when you Google map it, you see they have 3 driveways, and they're all truck entrances. When you look at the building, there's one on the left, and then there's one on the right, and then there's one on the other street behind it. So when I called them, I told them, you know, what driveway I use, so I don't have to, because in a semi, if you go in the wrong area, it's a bitch to get turned around and get out. So when I called, I said, well, what driveway did I go in? She goes, well, who are you, who's the customer? And I told her, she goes, okay, you're on the back side of the building. So when I called earlier to pick this load up tomorrow, I asked her what driveway, and she goes, okay, the front driveway. I said, okay, which one, the left or right? She goes, it doesn't matter. She goes, you have to park on the street and walk in, and then they'll tell you which driveway. It's like, okay, cool. So I was looking at it, and yeah, I could actually have went and parked across the street from there. Technically, you're not supposed to, so they might have kicked me out, but who knows? I'm only a quarter mile away from here. Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, no, I have. It's been a learning experience, man. That's for sure. What's happening, Dale? You know, I keep thinking about that. I'm a believer, but you know what? That's a perfect job for a student. No, my theory is that I'd never make somebody else do something I wouldn't do. If I won't do it, you're not going to do it. That's one thing I learned working for this appliance company in Burbank. You know, the owner's been doing it since 1955, and I was there as a service technician. And one day, you know, I did shop work when I first started there and stuff. And he'd go, "Hey, can you go break down the cardboard and put it in the trash, or you know, can you go run around the building and dump all the trash cans?" And it never bothered me because you would always see him doing it. He would break down cardboard. He would take trash out. And it's like, you know what? If it's good enough for him to do, it's good enough for me to do. You know, he owns the damn company, and it wasn't a no little company. And well, I mean, it wasn't a huge company, but you know, if he's willing to do it, I'm sure the hell going to do it. I may have missed this. Are you company training or leasing and training? I'm going to start company. Well, I'll tell you what. If they try to send me to that freaking Arctic blizzard, I'm freaking going lease immediately. Because I ain't going back. Well, it's got some blizzard conditions. I'm not going. But I'm gonna probably start company training, and then probably fairly shortly after go lease. As soon as I see, okay, this isn't gonna cost me money, because you know, because one of the things I got to find out, hey, if I get a trainee and we're doing PSD and that guy can only drive 300 miles a day, am I allowed to drive the rest of the miles on the clock? Which I'm sure we can, because they don't want their loads to be late. But I think I might run a month of training or so before I make that decision, because I think I've done pretty smart by not going directly into lease, because knowing what I know after my first month of being solo, I saved myself a lot of money and a lot of aggravation by being company. I have Instagram. It is David H 6571. David H 6571. I let you see my head on Instagram. I think I edited that video where you guys seen my head though. if it was the part I thought. Just I understand that I changed the shipping address to the back building to accommodate the big trucks because our docks super tight. The docks are super tight. Yeah, you gotta love those places with the tight docks. There's some of them you pull in and you're like, oh my gosh, I really have to get it in there. Yeah, man, Jeff, I'm in Tennessee. It's hot. My AC's blaring right now. It's hot. I would have liked to have been running. I mean, I don't know if you guys, seen the other videos, but I was able to drop this load way early. So it was like, cool. As soon as my 10-hour break was up, I was going to roll. And then I got redispatched to the same place for tomorrow morning at 11:30. They said, the shipping department said I can check in at 5:30, and then they'll call me when my load's ready, or it might be ready at 5:30. It's only going 400, so it's going to be a one-day drive because I have a full clock. So I'll have 11 hours to get it where it needs to go, and it's 400 miles. It's going to be freaking it'll be 8.5, maybe 9-hour drive, as long as we don't run into any traffic or anything like that. So I'll be delivering it tomorrow. It's a drop and hook, so I can deliver any time even before it's appointment time. But I was a little bummed at that for about that long. Then I thought to myself, you know what? You're sitting here. You're safe. You're in a truck stop. It's not freezing. You're not stuck in Wyoming in a blizzard going, okay, I'm shut down in an ice storm. I'm not driving on ice sheets. So it's like, you know what? I'm taking an extra day here. Safe. Not burning, not having any problems. So I didn't mind. I was like, okay, cool. That's good. I'll kick on, when I'm done with this, I'll kick on a movie and watch a movie before I go to bed and be good to go. To make it easier, yeah, definitely. While you are PSD and sitting in the seat gives you something to do. Okay. While you're a PSD and sitting in the seat gives you something to do. Oh yeah, cutting the broom. What's up, Tom? John, bomb cycle? Oops, bomb cyclone coming. A bomb cyclone coming. Where at? Let me make sure I stay the hell away from that. I know my wife said it was raining pretty good earlier in Missouri. But that's going to be a weird thing to have to get another truck, man. It's like, damn it, it's such a pain in the neck. About damn time for what, Wheezy? What? It could be about damn time for everything. I lack in everything. I lack in everything, man. So that statement you just made could mean anything. Storms in what? Memphis, huh? Okay, so hopefully it blows through and is gone by tomorrow, because I'll be sitting here until tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, the live. Yeah, so you got notifications, because it took like 2-3 minutes, or probably not that long. It took a cut. Normally when I go live, by the time it comes on and I sit down and stare at it for a second, usually people start popping in. It took like a minute today, so I didn't know if it was the notifications were gonna go out or not. I wish I had another phone, man. You guys could have went with me earlier to go get fuel, and you could have helped me. You could have helped me clean the trailer out, all kinds of stuff. But I needed to use my phone. Coming from the west, okay. Yeah, you know what? Someone was telling me that it's rain, rain or whatever. It's like, that's fine, man, as long as it's not freezing, where it's going to cause danger. Rain sucks, you got to slow down. But, I mean, unless it would have to be some pretty, I guess high winds, too, for me not to be able to make my drop tomorrow in one shift. Chances he'd be awesome to train with me. Been doing my research and hopefully coming on to Prime in 4 to 5 weeks. The readers have been great. Thanks, Shane. Yeah, I hope you get here. It's a good place, I think. I-80 storms. Yeah, screw those I-80 storms. You didn't get one, okay. Huh. It took 10 minutes for you to get notified. Yeah, they do that. I know a couple guys I watch live, they complain about that, but it's weird because when Chad went live, I seen his notification, I hit play, and I was the first one in the room, so his notification went right out because he was like, oh, cool. What's happening, Richard? But, yeah, I think anybody that wants to come to Prime and train here, I think you'll make the right decision because it really isn't a bad place. Everywhere's going to have their issues, but I really don't think Prime's a bad place. They got nice facilities, nice trucks. Talking to Crazy Bags earlier, and he was talking that KLLM site was their main facility. Oh my God, that place was a dump. It was an absolute dump. Not that that means anything because you don't really spend time at the terminal, but take a little pride in your terminal. Yeah, hit the like button. There's 14 of you in here and only 6 likes. Does that mean, oh shit, let me do the math. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 19. So that means 146, right? Because you got 14 and then the 6. You put them all together, 146. Yeah. So yeah, man, you guys got to be all lived out today. There was nothing but lives all day. All day. I missed a lot of Chad's live. I was listening to it, but I couldn't read the comments and stuff because I was doing laundry. I had to get my laundry done, man. One thing that was weird when I did my laundry right now, when I was folding my clothes, I had like 20 shirts, 2 pairs of underwear, and 5 pairs of socks. What does that mean? I went 20 days and only changed my underwear twice? No, I'm just kidding. I was actually thinking about that when I was looking at the pile of clothes. I was like, ooh, that's a picture for Instagram. Then I thought about it. Wait a minute. I don't want to put my freaking underwear on Instagram because I have so many clothes. I have a pile of underwear like this high. And, I mean, a mountain of socks. I have a shopping bag full of socks. Oh, shit. Hitting the dew, yeah. Man, I had a hell of a time sleeping last night, too. I wonder if it's the Mountain Dew. The dew screwed me. No, because I'll be getting a call from Missy at some point, and then that's when it's all going to go to hell. It's going to cut us all off when she gets home from church. I think she said at 9:30 Central Time. She does her Bible study. It's not Wendy and Linda. It's Wendy and Lisa. Lisa, you're offending her. Lisa. Don't piss her off, man. She'll start screaming at me when I'm trying to sleep.
You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time.
I'm going to be getting 11 hours back tonight. 11 hours and 14. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's in 2 days. Tonight I'm getting 9 hours and 43 minutes back. And I already have 12. So that's setting me up good. The problem is, though, look, guys, today I will have, well, let me tell you. Oh, you know what? I won't have no miles. But today my mileage,
you have 8 hours
because I started
and 0 minutes
driving.
Of remaining drive time.
Because I started driving, after midnight last night.
You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time.
So today I drove for 178 miles because the rest of the miles, well, no, I was only 178 miles away. So, Yeah, so basically today I'll have no hours coming for next week. So this sitting around is going to screw up my recaps, but if we play it right and do our numbers right, we should be able to save them. Yes, Lisa. See, Lisa, he just made a boo-boo. It's okay. You're finally unloaded? Were they taking forever to unload you, William? Praise the Lord, yeah. How's it going, Nicholas? Nicholas, I don't think I've seen you in here before. If you haven't been in here before, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe, ring the bell. I got a couple new subscribers today, which was cool. I always think, oh, I'm going to shout them out when I go live, and then now that I'm live, I forget their names, you know, but it's old age, man. There's just nothing you can do about that. You can change the voice on Wendy. I don't think you can on Lisa, though. Wendy, you can, there's like 3-4 voices you can change it to. But Lisa over here, she's kind of sexy sounding, if you ask me.
You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear that again. Listen to that. Listen to that voice.
You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time.
Until she's screaming at me when I'm trying to freaking drive. They both start yapping at each other like freaking hens. William got stuck on a repower today. Appointment was for tomorrow, but I got it today. I can't complain too much. Yeah. Well, you got lucky. That repower I did, the appointment was for that day, and it ended up being tomorrow. I've been so screwed. This week has started out screwy, but I'm good with it because I'm not in the weather. Because if I was in the weather with big miles, I wouldn't be moving anyways. So it's 6 one way, half dozen the other, except I'm safe here. I'm safe. There's no worry about crashing. I mean, always there's worry about crashing, but there's no worry about sliding off a bridge and plummet to your death because of ice or any of that. Ron says you guys really do some good work. Okay, well, thank you. Us guys. Lease can sing soft K to help you sleep. That would be amazing if it would. That would be so cool. Because it's got a long cord on it. You can take it off and bring it into the bed with you and have it whisper sweet nothings into your ear. Oh, man, you guys are bad. How do you get used to the mountains? Used to the mountains? You mean like driving through the mountains? Okay. I'm going to become a trainer here shortly, so let me give you one of my tips, okay? This is money now. You click it, you hammer down and rip it, and then you close your eyes and hope you survive. That's how you get through the mountains. Now, the mountains don't bother me at all. As a matter of fact, if you watch that video from me coming here yesterday, there's one point where I was talking about using the Jake brake. That was a really steep grade because as I'm talking, I noticed that the Jake brake, it was holding the truck back, but then the truck started gaining speed. And you want to be careful because you don't want to let the speed get out of hand, because you'd be surprised at running down a hill heavy. You can literally smoke these brakes in seconds trying to stop. If you had to stop fast, man, these brakes are going up. They're going to burn. So you always want to... Generally, when I go downhill, I hardly use the brakes at all. It's always the Jake. Always the Jake. The brakes are, just to keep your RPMs where you need them to be. Now, some say that the Jake should be your primary method to keep the truck going down a hill, and some say your brakes are and your Jake is your backup. Me, I like to use the Jake and I like to use the brakes as a backup. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just how I do it. and it works good. I use the Jake a lot because, especially if I don't even lease, but if I was leasing a truck, especially use the Jake. It's free. It's a free brake. You know, why burn your brake pads? Dude, I know how you feel. I did a lot last week. It sucked. This week isn't starting out too great, but at least we're not ice skating. Yeah, yes. Thank God for layover pay. Yeah, that's right. I'm getting layover for that one too. But yeah, my last week I had good miles. That stupid repower they did, that even put another 112 miles plus the layover on my check. Which, man, let me turn the air conditioner up. You cannot regulate the temperature in these vehicles for nothing. Let's try that. See if it doesn't get so cold. But last week was a nice miles week, good money week. This week, what are we, Wednesday? So I'm one day into this week, and if I get that delivered tomorrow, I'll have what? I can't remember how much yesterday's. Oh no. If I get that delivered tomorrow, I'll have like 1,200 miles already for this week, and it's only 2 days in. So this week we're on now could turn out to be a good week if we can keep rolling and we don't get stuck in weather. Ron, you're training right now? Cool. Are you training with Prime? Sounds like you have done that before with Lisa. You'll never know. I'm a believer. You'll never know. I don't kiss and tell. Jeff, driving through the mountains it's up and down. That's a good one, Jeff. That's a good one. I definitely like going down the hills better than up the hills. Down the hills, I feel going up the hills, you're like, come on, you piece of shit, go. And then going down the hills, you got your adrenaline pumping. And you know, at any time, see, where you see these mountains with these truck runaway ramps, that's because it doesn't take much to have a truck run away on you. Just remember that. If you smoke your brakes and it's such a steep and heavy load that your Jake's not holding you, I mean, I'm sure everybody's, if you're not driving trucks, you've heated your brakes up in a car going down a hill, and you know how all of a sudden you don't feel like you have any brakes? Well, imagine that in one of these trucks, and it's pushing down a hill. It could get pretty hairy, man. That's one thing I don't mess around is, I go, okay, this is where I want the speed to be. I don't let it keep pushing. Like if the Jake's not holding it back and I'm at 50, 55, I'm not going to wait till it's 70 before I try to bring it back down, because you'll torch your brakes. So I'll just, keep it under control without heating them brakes up. You've been out 2 weeks now, cool. So you're almost done with your PSD then? You're getting ready to try test out? Ron? Yeah, the Jenny bread. Oh, you must have seen that video I did. Hey, man, it's true. They think about it. Hurricanes and all that, it used to be all Hugo and, this, that, and the other. Then all of a sudden, I mean, it used to be female names because it was Mother Nature. Then all of a sudden, now it had to have male names in there too. It's like, when did Mother Nature become freaking transgender? Maybe that's why they go with man and woman's name. But it's like, when you have to bitch so much that Mother Nature has to have a male's name one storm and a female's name the other storm, you got freaking issues. You need to just be put down. I didn't say that out loud. Damn it, where's my pills? Damn it, I bit a pill in half. Oh, that's gross. All right, where are we? Whoops. What's happening, Jack? I'm not far behind. What's happening? Hey, how the hell did I get this far behind? I wasn't. Okay, how you doing, Hog Rider? Zerva, what's up? Ever try that GPS fix I sent a link for? It restores it back to how it's got. Yeah, no, I've done all that. All that. That link you sent me, I did that originally with the GPS. I didn't do it again, but I did it originally. I'm not behind Hog Rider. I going up the mountains when empty or light. It's the one time that slow ass trucks. Yep, damn straight. I like that too. When I'm empty and I'm going up them hills and I'm passing all those trucks, it's like that's right, that's right. I'm a badass. Oh wait, I'm doing 40 and they're just doing 25. What's up, Bobby? Who's dying? Who's dying? Oh, you must have seen me choking on my pill. At least blowing a tranny means engine problems and trucking still. Wait, at least blowing a. Oh. Bobby Light gonna do it right. Okay. What's up, Ron? Buffalo, New York. Right on, Ron. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell thingy so I can torture you more often. You don't need a GPS. Okay, Hog Rider. All right. Okay. Somebody on one of my videos, I was talking about how why don't they put, when there's a weight limit over there, why don't they put it at the beginning of the street and not when you get to the bridge or whatever, da 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 da. And they're all, well, what do you need the government or the city to tell you how to drive? You should already know that. Okay, whoever said that, and with you saying get your map out. See the eyes? I'm looking at you over my glasses. I was on a weight limit street the other day that was not in the atlas. It showed that it was a perfectly legal route. And what map would you like me to get out? Google Maps? Or I'm just being I'm just being a smart ass. I'm not, you know, anything, but I'm just, because people always say, oh, well, you know, you don't need this, you don't need that. Well, a lot of these weight limit problems are not in the atlas because it's the city that enforces that. In that area where I was at, there was nothing. They put a weight limit on it because they just didn't want trucks going through, big trucks going through there. There was no bridges, there was no, you know, overhangs or anything, but it was not, you know, it's not in the atlas. So looking at a map or anything isn't going to tell you everything you need to know. I forgot what the hell my point was, but yeah. I think my point was more towards that one time when they were like, you should know where these bridges are. The city doesn't have to put signs up. But it's like, yeah, well, how do you know if they're not listed anywhere? I mean, if you look in the atlas and it says, yeah, you're good from end to end, and you get there and there's a freaking road that's got a 15,000 pound weight limit on it, or 15-ton weight limit on it, it's like, okay, well, there you go. Now I'm getting behind because I went off on a tangent. Right now I'm getting 7.8 miles to the gallon, so I have to get at least 7.5 to be able to train. Thank you, Hog Rider. That's right, everybody. Hit that like button. There's 23 victims and 14 likes. Yes, Bobby. Everyone hit it at once. I want to watch the numbers. GPS is the way to go. And for the most part, Jack, I really think it is. Whether you're making a joke out of it or not. As long as you look at your route first. I mean, every time I get a dispatch, I look at the GPS and then I compare. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'll be completely honest. If I look at the GPS and I'm going to go I-40 all the way to Hardy Street, get off at Hardy Street, make a right, and I'm at my shipper, the atlas doesn't come out. Okay, the last mile I look at, but the atlas ain't coming out. The only time the atlas comes out is when I'm getting off an interstate and taking a state route, or one of those type of routes, unless it's one I've been on before and I know. But you guys know, you've watched my videos, know where you're going. The GPS is fine as long as you know where you're going and that it's good. That video I made, guys, of I was going to be late to my 01 by 10 minutes. I'm cruising to the 01, right? And I'm looking in my GPS, my Rand McNally. Now, this I did not expect, okay? Because I'm driving, all of a sudden, look, my Rand McNally wants me to go a different way than the way I already looked up via the Navgo system. I knew that was a good way. So I'm like, well, I'm not going that way. So I went this way, and what it was a brand new piece of freeway. So the Rand McNally didn't even know it was there. It was just riding in a mountaintop. And by the time I got through that section and to the other side, it took 15 minutes off my drive time. I would have literally only have been 1 minute late to that 01, because I was supposed to get there at 9:01 then instead of 9:11 or whatever, or 9 whatever it was, because I was going off the time Rand McNally was giving me, which was the detoured way. But anyways, again, I forgot what my point was. Just ignore me. A city map. Okay, a city map isn't going to give you any weights or, anything like that. Yes, the Atlas has low clearances, but it does not have weight limits. It doesn't have the, no trucks here, no trucks there, it doesn't have any of that. And there's many a times I'll be going on my designated route, and all of a sudden I'll see no trucks or no through trucks, and I have to deviate off it and go around that area, even though the Atlas says, no, you're good, go right through. Maybe whoever's drawn with that crayon in the Atlas, shakes a little bit. I hope it has every low clearance, but it definitely doesn't have the weight limits in there. Speaking of low clearance, man, I was barreling down the road the other day, a couple weeks ago or whatever, and boom, 13, it was a state highway somewhere, 13.6 bridge. I was like, nah, this truck's got to be shorter than 13.6. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, it made it. Okay, good. I mean, it's like, they say that you can fit under a 13.6 bridge, so, oh, man. Well, the road I live on has a weight restriction. Truck rolls through there all the time, including myself. Small town farming community, nobody pays any attention. Yeah, a lot of the roads that have weight limit restrictions are just because they don't want big trucks there. It's not that there's going to be a problem. They just don't want you damaging the road, are the big trucks around. That's like a lot of the areas that say no through trucks or no trucks. They just don't want you going that way because you create a headache for traffic and stuff. Sometimes the city changes the weight limits and isn't in an Atlas yet. Even the motor carry Atlas isn't perfect. GPS just speeds up the trip planning. Yeah, GPS definitely does. I'm a big believer in GPS if you do it right. You've got to know where you're going. You have to know. You can't just turn the GPS on and start driving. You'll get screwed. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day. Eventually you'll get screwed. My instructor used to do that, and every now and again he'd be like, no, we're not turning there, and keep, but he was driving for years, so he's always followed just the GPS since he started driving. So when he's driving and all of it, he sees, okay, well, I can't go that way, it tells me he wants to go, he'll just work his way around eventually. Me, I don't like surprises, so I like to know what I'm coming across. You live on GPS? Hey Kenworth, how you doing? A lot of truckers, man, you tell them you're using GPS, they have a freaking fit, and then you go to their truck and they have a GPS in it. You see a lot of these old school truckers with GPSs on their dash, and you ask them about it and they're like, yeah. And it's the same thing. It's a tool. It's not an end-all be-all. It's a tool. That road atlas I have right there, it's within reach, real quick and easy. I pop it up here, I go through it real quick, and when I first started using the Atlas, it was kind of a pain in the neck, but now it's like everything else you do over and over again. You just run right through it. But that's a big thing, that because my instructor always threatened, I'm going to make you start navigating by just the atlas. Okay, because your GPS is going to get us killed. Um, and he didn't even have an atlas. When I finally called him on it, said, yeah, I want the atlas. Well, I don't have one. I ended up buying one and had it on his truck so the student could look it up and make sure we were going somewhere safe. You're right, it's called restricted routes, but those restricted routes all of them aren't in there. The one I was at the other day, it's not in the atlas. It wasn't because it was just a city thing. These let's see. Zerva said sometimes the cities just change what they want to change, and it's not going to be in the atlas. Now, I think what's in the atlas is actual bridges, that have weight limits on them. I think those are all in the atlas. But when a city decides we don't want trucks going this way, that ain't in the atlas, because I run across that all the time. And it's usually not a big deal, because generally if you just relax and go, okay, let me just look, where you can just open your Google map and see, they don't want you going that way, well, you can go this way, or it will have a sign telling you truck route or whatever. But yeah, no, not all. There's a lot of spots trucks can't go that aren't in the atlas. But it's funny because in the atlas where it says weight restrict, or not, what's it called? It's not called weight restriction. You just said what it was. Where is it? Restricted routes. They really need to explain it better in an atlas, because you look at it and it just says such and such near this highway, that, and it's like, you'd think it'd give you better description of where it's at. At least I think so. Right now it's 7.8, Kenworth, 7.8. I brought it up to 7.8, and I bet you by the time I get ready to go train, I bet you I'll be in the 8s. Easy. Because last night I drove 178 miles at 55 miles an hour. But it was all up and down hills, so, it didn't really make that big of a difference because I was burning fuel. Page 837 in a 2018 Atlas, which is what, the restricted routes. It's too bad a truck route map isn't available. There I was wrong. That's what an Atlas is. It's all the truck routes. And I'll tell you what, Hog Rider. Hey, Ian. My Rand McNally GPS has never steered me wrong. Except if you miss your turn. It sometimes, you're screwed and it has no way to get you out of there. It just tells you, dipshit, there's a bridge up ahead. You need to cut half the truck off or back up. But I'm trying to think. Now, my Rand McNally, when I had that road restriction, a 6-ton road restriction at my 90 the other day, that was in the last mile on the app, so I knew it was there. There was 3 ways to go. My Google Maps on my phone actually took me the correct way. That's the way I left there, and then when I went back the next day, that's the way I went. And I wanted to let Prime know that's the way they should go, because it's actually marked for trucks. The way that the last mile said to go and the nav go, it was okay, but you have to make a damn hairpin turn on these side streets to get around, and if there's traffic, you're screwed. Now, my Rand McNally, it wanted me to turn at the street before, which, how do I describe it? Instead of making the hairpin, it would have took you over like that. Well, that one was marked 6-ton. The Rand McNally didn't know it had a weight limit on it, but it was marked properly how I think it should be marked. When you're coming up on it, there was a sign posted there before you turned on it that said 6-ton weight limit. And I knew, okay, go to the next street, which was that hairpin turn. Yeah, it was all hills yesterday too. Oh, but you know what? That mileage is from last week. The hills I did was from yesterday. I got that mileage yesterday before I did the hills. What's happening, Will? Right, Hog Rider, they don't have them all. It's basically, you just got to use common sense when you're driving. You got to read the signs. That's it. You just got to look for signs. And I'm a stickler on that, man. That's the one thing I'm sure I'm gonna piss a student off is what'd that sign say? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, okay, what'd that sign say? I don't know. You better start knowing, because that's the easiest way to get yourself in trouble, is not paying attention to these signs. Easiest way. What's happening, Will? Let's see. Yeah, recalculate can get you into trouble. I don't like recalculating. Yeah, absolutely. I read signs because if you watch my early videos, that trouble I got into with the bridge and, the other things, it was from not... Well, I don't know about that bridge because I didn't see any sign even when I left, but, you get into these areas where it's like, well, wait a minute, I should have never been in there. Well, there was a sign, and you're not paying attention to the sign. You're going to get... Because Well, you got to remember, though, I was told, okay, I'm going to bed. I set the GPS for you, just follow it, and you'll be good. So I follow the GPS right into trouble. Should I have noticed, oh, it wants me to turn there? Okay, it must be okay. I'll drive over half the yards to get over there, but, so yeah, you got to read the signs. You got to know, and that's why I always say know where you're going, because one of the worst things that can happen to you is you pass where you need to go, and you realize it, and now you don't know what's ahead of you. And sometimes it's not good ahead of you. So I always look. If I pass the driveway, is there somewhere to turn around or to loop back around? And I went to this one place where you couldn't turn around, and you would have had to go really far to get around. And as I'm driving, I just realized I was passing their driveway. Now it was like 2 a.m. There's no traffic. So I was like, stopped right there, and I backed up, I don't know, 20 yards or something, to turn in their driveway. But they also were marked as DHL and not the shipper I thought I was going to. Hey David, hope you're doing well. If you're a company driver and you live in North Carolina, oh man, my eyes. How would you get home time if you can't take the truck 30 miles? Well, if you live 30 miles to where, to Prime, they want you to just have a car there. Leave your car in the long-term parking, or or take an Uber. They actually tell me, they've told me, well, let us, you're going to be here what day? Let people know, and we'll see if we can't get you a ride with one of the guys who are leaving, to go out on a load. And I told them, I go, no. I go, unless it's an experienced driver, I go, the dude will shit himself if he pulls his tractor trailer onto my street. Because my street goes off the main U.S. highway and it loops around back to the main U.S. highway. But after you pass my house, it's zigzaggy. And the zigzag, you're going to be up against the ditch on that side, trailer tandems running in the ditch on that side. It's going to be a tight situation. So I wouldn't even want to take a tractor trailer. I would just rather, you can bobtail, no problem. Plus, I told him, yeah, man, it's 30 miles, but it's an hour's drive. I go, you really think one of these guys want to go that far out of their way? I don't want to make them do that. But, and you said North Carolina, right? Is that what that says in North Carolina? I can't freaking read it. It's so small. But anyways, if you're not parking at Springfield, from what I understand, this is a Springfield problem. It could be any terminal problem that if you go in, you're not going out. But because I said, what if I lived in California? He said, yeah, well, you'd be able to take it home then if you had parking for it. He goes, but you don't live in California, you live in Missouri, right by Springfield. Don't go to Colorado. Police officers just died because of the weather is so bad. Wow. Isn't that where Crazy Bags is going, I think, in the morning? If the GPS doesn't tell them to do it, they don't. Well, what's worse is when the GPS tells them to do it and they do, and you shouldn't be doing it. Oh, thank you, Hog Rider. I'm gonna try, man, because I look at everything I didn't know when I got behind the wheel of a truck solo. Number one, I honestly think Prime should have never let me left that yard. Um, they should have never. I should have never rolled. Um, you're probably thinking, well, how'd they know? Well, number one, logs knew I knew nothing about logs. They made me do a logs class, and they knew, they made my trainer do it too. Number two, I called my dispatcher when I got into the truck for the first load, and I'm like, what the hell? We didn't have this nav system. How do you use it? I have no idea. He didn't know either. So it's like, okay, so you don't know how to navigate. You don't know this, and yeah, it was horrible. But that's why I say I think Prime needs to test the student before they get into a truck solo. They need to, do you know how to read navigation? Do you know how to read an atlas? All that stuff. But they don't. So you got to just do it yourself. Hey, Timothy, signs, everywhere the signs. Long bearded David reading all the signs. Yeah, I know that song. I lived in Florida when I was company. They let me take the truck home 60 plus miles from a receiver. Yeah, no, they have no problem with you taking the truck home when you're not. The thing is going into Springfield to drop that trailer. That's the problem. Once you're in Springfield terminal, you're not leaving it. If that's where you need to drop the trailer because you're that close to Springfield at your house, you're not going home from there. That's just their rules. Some dude killed a bunch of people and ruined it for me. That sounds like what Junior Honduras does, Hog Rider. He don't use GPS. He does everything by the the fuel plan. It'll tell you take I-10. And you know what? If you think about it, it's so without GPS, all you need to know is how to, once you get off the freeway, how to get to a shipper or receiver safely. Because that can get tricky if you don't have that last mile and the receiver or whatever doesn't answer their phone. Because there's plenty of times where the last mile tells me, do not turn on this street, do not turn on that street, this, that, and the other, because there's weight limits, there's fines, there's low bridges. Now, obviously, the GPS doesn't take you that way, but if you weren't using GPS and you were doing it, you might drive that way. Because the Atlas, yeah, I guess the Atlas would tell you that it was off the interstate, I think. But that's why I one time didn't have last mile information on my deal, and I called the shipper and got it, and of course they had me go down a road that was a 6-ton weight limit. So you can even get bad information from them. Well, if you live 4 hours away from Prime, you're gonna be dropping the trailer at either a shipper, receiver, or if they have a drop yard nearby. More than likely, I think that's what it was. I think it was if you live like 150 miles or more. There was a mileage because that's what they said. I live too close to the terminal, and my fleet manager was like, if I can find somewhere where you can drop that trailer, then he could do it. But the whole fact that I'm dropping the trailer at Prime is the problem. But I don't think you have a problem 4 hours away. They're definitely not going to, have you drop at the yard and then drive 4 hours with their truck. They'll have you drop somewhere nearby. Well, believe it or not, my new load picks up at where I dropped my load today. The problem is it picks up at 11:30 tomorrow morning. But I called the shipper and she said that I can check in at 5. or 5:30 they start check-in. So I'll probably go over. I'll probably sleep until I wake up. I won't. I'm not going to check in if I feel tired. I'll just wait because there's so much weather going on. And this load goes to Arkansas. It's 430 miles, so I'll get it there and drop tomorrow. It's just a 1-day trip. Um, mhm. What time to go to work? I'll probably be awake. Okay, sounds good. I love you too. Okay. All right. All right. Bye. Bye. Everything's unmuted. Some gracious contentious Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, there you go. I don't know what the hell I did. I just pushed all kinds of buttons. Well, that's interesting. I thought it automatically dropped you when you did a phone call. Otherwise, I would have just said, hold on, because all she was doing was call me to tell me that she's going to bed. She doesn't stay up very late, so at freaking, what is it, 9 o'clock or whatever? That's like majorly late for her. Oh, let me catch up here. Sound is on. Hi, David, I'm back. Hey, Keith. Jack. Daryl. Hogrider. Just delayed. User error. What's your biggest advice you would give to a noob? Well, it depends on what part of being a noob you're at. Whether you're in training or actually in the truck. Use the right lotion. Keep your hands soft. Try to go local whenever you get a year. It's amazing compared to crappy OTR. Yeah, Gavin, how you doing? I think you're new. If so, hit subscribe, ring the bell. But anyways, OTR, I've been looking at OTR jobs, and anything that seems like it might pay close to what OTR pays, they want 2 years experience. But you're just not going to make as much money local as you will OTR, especially if you're training. And I know a lot of guys in trucking industry, they go OTR. I mean, they go local and they come right back to OTR because of, it wasn't all that's cracked up to be, whether it's too much work for them or whatever. I'm not going to work 16 hours a day, then drive 2 hours round trip doing local. Yeah, that's what I hear a lot is, and then you load and unload the truck and. No, you're not supposed to turn loads down. I did one time and I heard about it for 5 hours, man. It was like a conversation from hell. And then my fleet manager wanted to know why I was laughing as he was bitching about it. What are you laughing at? I don't know. You? Oh man, he was blowing a gasket. As a company driver, if you turn down a load, there better be a good reason for it. I was just having trouble getting miles OTR with Swift, so went local. JB Hunt at Swift. I know another YouTuber. What is it? Kevin Was Up. He went local and made more money than at Swift, but now he went back OTR, and I think part of it was because of all the work involved in doing the local gig. He was only driving like 2-3 hours, but the rest of his day was loading and unloading that truck. Exactly, Swift. Because I'm getting the miles here. Sometimes like this week. Well, last week, hell, I had like four stops, 4 or 5 stops, but I ended up with like 2,600 miles or something like that, which is good, for a week that I didn't, really bust ass on. What are you saying, Johnny? I'm going to Pittston. I can never say that place. At GBR, GBR, are you going to Springfield? Okay, I see you're talking GBR. Nothing much, Jack. I see a lot of people going to Prime on the 25th. YouTube, I'm on a delay, huh? Yeah, that's why they can hit the beeper when I say some bad shit. Unless you're scheduled to head into a blizzard. I'm not. I'm picking up here and I'm going to Arkansas, where they send me, and I should get there and get it dropped tomorrow because I have a full clock here, and it's a drop and hook. So I literally, my clock isn't going to start until I leave the shipper. So I'll have a full 11 hour, full 14, and plenty of the 70 to get to where I'm going. I will probably go lease after winter and after I train a student and see what that's like. My final goal is eventually I want to do, and that's why if I lease, I'll probably only, try to find something with only a year on it left, so I don't get into a 3-year and then not get money, because I don't think I'm going to be OTR for 3 more years, but you never know. I love it. I just don't like my wife being home alone in an old house. So my end goal would probably be after 2 years, because I need to stack cash to fix my house. So I might end up being out here another 2 years. I know for another year for sure. And then I would start looking into something local where I won't need to make as much money, because a couple bills that we have right now are going to be gone. And my daughter moved out with her boyfriend last Monday, so our electric bill, it's been like $450, $500. It should drop way down, because her boyfriend would run the heater and TV 24 hours a day. And my house is all electric. Yeah, not only Colorado, but they're having it in Wyoming, Nebraska, and somewhere else. Their blizzard. No, we have horses and dogs and cats, so if she was going to go on the road with me like for a week or two, my daughter would have to come stay at our house, which my daughter said she would do. Ride shotgun. Yeah, she'll probably come out with me at some point when she gets vacation time at her work. And what I would do at that point is I would set up a home time, but not at home. Somewhere like, say, okay, where do you want to go? You want to go see this? Okay, let me ask dispatch, can you get me over there? And then, do a like 3 days or something off. Well, our heater's electric, and our upstairs of our house doesn't have central heat. It's only downstairs. So up in the bedrooms, they run these electric radiators. And my daughter's boyfriend lost his job. He's in the process of getting another one. So for like a month, he's in the room with that heater on 24 hours a day, and he can't sleep without a TV. So it's on all night. And my daughter and her boyfriend can't turn a light off to save their lives. But yeah, our house is all 100% electric. There's no gas in it at all. So now that they're gone, the electric bill is going to drop way down. Plus, I don't know why, she's supposed to look into it. My cell bill with T-Mobile for 2 of us is almost $190. That don't seem right. Yep, every light in the house on. And he would leave a fan on the porch because it was too cold for him to smoke. He smokes to smoke outside, so we have an enclosed porch. He would smoke in there at the window and blow it out. See, if I was home, there's no way in hell he would smoke in the house. No way in hell. Or on the porch, I mean. Shit, in the house, I'd freaking murder him. When I met the guy, it was funny. When I first met him, he has a daughter. I said, well, here's what I'm going to say to you. You have a daughter? Yeah, okay. Enough said. Enough said. You'll know what lengths you'll go through to protect her. That's all I have to say. Lions, tigers, and bears are why. Hey, Moto. Take him to drive a truck. He can't. He has a DUI, past DUI. David, have you watched any of the Asian Mia show on YouTube? It's like an educational channel for truckers and informative about different jobs, the requirements, and the pay. No, I haven't got to it. You got to remember, man, between doing this, keeping my truck on the road, and trying to get some sleep. Plus, I like to watch it. I haven't in a while, call it depressed or whatever, but when I came back from home time, like 2 weeks before I got this truck, I quit. Well, I haven't played my game either. I barely started watching TV again. I don't know what the hell was going on, but I just wasn't interested in anything but, anything enjoyable. That's one of the things that is weird about me. If things chemically aren't right, I like to punish myself by taking things away from myself, which is weird. It's freaking weird, man. So I took TV away and I took playing my video game away. Yeah, it's weird, man. Yeah, I would have liked to have kicked them out, but I had no say in the matter. They moved out. They got a place and moved out, thank goodness. Oh, our electric bill should be around 100. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to be that low. Yeah, we'll see if they'll turn off lights. No. No, and we told our daughter, if you can't make it out there and you got to come back home, you can come back home anytime you want by yourself. And it's cool because she didn't take any of her bedroom stuff. They got all, I guess, his stuff. So her bedroom is set up. If she needed to come and stay, if my wife got lonely or something, or she had to stay, overnight to take care of animals or stuff, her room's still set up. She can literally move back into the house in an hour. Right now I'm playing that Batman Return to Arkham. That's what it's called. It's 2 discs. Yeah, Return to Arkham. Arkham Asylum is the one I'm doing. But I played all the Call of Duties and all that. I just wanted to try something different. Excuse me. I might take the lotion away. The Call of Duties, and this is the first time I ever did something like Batman or whatever. The horses are 2 Tennessee Walkers, and my horse is a Missouri Foxtrotter. Yeah, my daughter's smart. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an Xbox. It's actually my daughter's Xbox One that her boyfriend from a couple years ago bought her for Christmas, because when he used to come over to the house and he was going to be there like a day or so, he'd bring his Xbox. So he thought he was being slick. He bought her an Xbox for Christmas so he could just bring his games instead of having to lug his Xbox around. And then, of course, when they broke up, it's her Xbox, but she quit playing the game, so she said, hey, if you want to take it, take it. We're live with Call of Duty. I used to play online games years ago. Hell, in 1991 or so, I used to do NASCAR racing on the computer online. It was Total Entertainment Network. I was an admin for the racing team that I raced with. I used to keep all the scoring system to see where everybody's at. That was pretty fun, man. It was pretty fun. But usually the Call of Duties in those games, when you do it online, they're just about, let's shoot each other. I would like to go into story mode and have all the guys group up and, run the story mode, rather than, just let's shoot each other. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? But I think I'm going to watch American Pie tonight. I watched the Return to Bandcamp with, it didn't have any of the original cast in it, but you know what I just realized? I never even ate dinner. So I will have my dinner right now. Ta-da! Ooh, that's don't look good. What the hell? Let's see. Well, it looks okay underneath. I was eating one of these one night, not from this bag, but I used to buy these all the time, and I quit buying them after this. You know, I drive nights as much as I can, and I was driving at night. It was dark in the truck, and I peeled one of these, and the smaller ones, I would pop half of it in my mouth. I popped it in my mouth, and it tasted funny. I went ahead and took another bite. Oh man, I don't have a trash bag. Couldn't find the damn opening, but it tasted funny, and after the second bite, I was like, what the hell's wrong with this? And I turned the light on in the truck, and it was freaking black. Oh, it was disgusting. And so I quit eating them for a while. Yeah, I was like, ugh. That's the problem with those oranges. If you don't eat them right away, they go bad. The PC's better with Call of Duty. Yeah, people say that, well, number one, if you're at a Pilot or a Love's and you get close enough to the building, the Wi-Fi is good, but a lot of people just use their phone's hotspot and do it. On Shorty, you mean on the lightweight? Well, let's see. 33, so you can do 45, 46, 40, 47,000 pounds. To where on a full size, you can only do 45. Yeah, 45, right? So you got 35, 45, so 35, 70, 80, something like that. You can do about 3,000 pounds more than the lightweight. I mean, than the condo. Yeah, that Sprint, all I know is Sprint didn't work well in Santa Clarita where I work. Sprint or AT&T, Verizon and T-Mobile worked the best. And it was weird because Verizon worked here and it was dead spot here, and T-Mobile worked there and dead spot. If I would have had a Verizon and a T-Mobile account, I would have had service everywhere. And I used to use the Verizon hotspots for my work computers, and they work great. It worked better than using a hotspot on your phone, but you can hotspot your phone for gaming. I got grub here. I'm gonna eat. I ate out this morning. That's enough. I mean, I got tons of food on this truck. Tons of food. And I got some, what do I got? I can't remember the name of it. I got bacon in there. I got hot dogs. Those polka, sausages. Hot dog buns. I ran out of lunch meat though. Oh, you know what? Do I have Brussels sprouts? Yes, I got a pack of Brussels sprouts. I love those. I put garlic and butter on them. And they come with, what the hell is that noise? They come with seasoning stuff in the bag. They steam in the bag in the microwave. Yeah, that's a good deal for the Verizon Mobile. They for $10 a month, I was looking at Verizon the other day, and it was expensive, man. It was like $80 a month to have unlimited. No, you don't run lightweight. You run full size on a flatbed. They don't even offer it. Yeah, Prime doesn't run flat. And why I know that is when I called Recruiter originally and was asking about that, and she goes, no, if you want a full size, you have to go flatbed. Otherwise, as a solo driver company, you're going to get a lightweight. And I wasn't going to go to Prime because of that, but then I called leasing, and she's all, no, you can get a condo, just ask for one. She goes, you're just not going to make the extra 5 cents a mile. I don't know, because flatbed you carry more weight or something, and this motor in the or engine in this thing is a freaking dog, taking off, man. But a lot has to do with the transmission doesn't start out in the right gear. I was getting on the interstate coming back here from Pilot, and I turned the corner, probably doing like 5 miles an hour, and I went to accelerate, and there was no acceleration at all. I was in 8th gear, so I downshifted it to about 4th, and then it took off. But it's like, why in the hell is it trying to go in 8th gear? Because the truck won't even move. It just, you know, it. Well, you guys know what it's like to have a car in the wrong gear. You know, if you ever drove a manual and you put it in too high of a gear, it just won't go. It just bogs. How's everyone Instagram? Mine is shut down. They're having problems. I haven't been on mine. I was on mine earlier. Well, yeah, that's. I think, yeah, Sprint was, or T-Mobile was buying Sprint. But why I went to T-Mobile is they're running off a lot of Verizon towers. Now, when I'm running across country, it's bizarre. I'll go to use my phone, and it will say up in the corner, such and such network. You know, it might be on Verizon network. It could be on AT&T network. And when you go on certain networks, you can't get your voicemail. You can, but you got to dial. I can't remember what you got to do. I think you got to dial your voicemail. You can't just use the regular voicemail way. It won't let you because you're on a different network. Yeah, I don't know why they don't do lightweights with flatbed. I know they're doing lightweights with tanker, because when I was looking into tanker, he was talking about how they got lightweight trucks. It sounds like they bought out a tanker division somewhere, and they got their trucks. Because he was mentioning that, you know, yeah, you're in a condo, you're gonna get a lightweight, so you know, get used to it. What's happening? Trucking with a million mile man. Damn. Do you have a million miles, or you just call yourself a million mile? Yeah, that's when I was with Verizon, my hotspots were $10. Now, when I first started trucking, I had 2 T-Mobile hotspots from my business, and I brought one with me. It didn't work for crap. I ended up they were $20 each. I ended up canceling them. But yeah, it didn't work at all. My phone worked better. Most phones act as a hotspot. You just got to make sure your plan lets you do a hotspot for X. You know, because a lot of plans will cut your hotspot after a while. Gotta update your app. Well, I remember watching Junior Honduras one time, and he said that he games online by using his phone. So it must work. Tanker pays 51 cents a mile, but what I was going to do is they have a new dedicated Midwest division for tanker, but after you get home every 10 to 14 days for a couple of days, but after looking into it, you just wouldn't quite make as much money as OTR. And once I found out that, we got financially wiped out, it's like, no, I need to make money, man. So I got to stay OTR, full time out, and start training, and then hit the lease to stack some money back up. But I'm still, it is what it is. We'll eventually get there. I need to buy a beater, though. I need to get something that I can park at Prime and get home. Because look at this. I'm going to be going for 4 days to Prime to do the training. And I'm not going to be able to go home because I have no way to get home. I think she's able to pick me up one night I'll spend at home. And then I'm going to be stuck in my truck. You know what it's like to sleep in your truck when you're 30 miles away from home? Really, the reefer does? I live in the Midwest. Missouri is the Midwest. I live in southwest Missouri. Southwest. There's no Uber, taxis, or anything that goes to my area. They just wouldn't have anything coming back. So what I think it is, they would have to charge so much they don't even do it. They don't even offer it. I actually called. I called Lyft and asked, is it just the app doesn't have? And they're like, no, we don't go there. They just don't have anybody that will go there. Well, my thing with going lease, because I could technically go lease the same time I'm doing the class. That's what my plan was, but my wife really wasn't behind that. So I'm thinking, well, you know what? It's going to be a little bit of a learning curve with a student, so I might as well learn that curve, well, in a company truck. What's up, David? That's so weird for me to say your name, to say my own name. Yeah, because I was telling the wife, with training, it's going to be hard to lose money in leasing, There's just no option for Uber. And you know what it would cost to take an Uber black car home and then back every night for 4 days? That would probably be enough money to buy a beater. I actually was going to get a beater, and I went home and I was like, okay, they hooked me up with like $1,500 to get a beater. And that's when I found out that there is no 1,000 or 15. It's like, what? Yeah, exactly, GBR. Or they're not making much more, but I think with training, you'll do good as a lease guy, because when you're in TNT leasing, you got to remember, if the load is, 1,500 miles and it pays $3,000, well, 1,500 miles is going to take you 3.5 days solo to get there. Technically 3 days, but I always like to give a little extra. Now with the lease or with training, it's going to, you're doing 1,000 miles a day, so it's going to take you a day and a half. And then with training, there's basically no stop. The truck. Well, it looks like the way Crazy Bags does it, he doesn't actually run it like a team. When I was in training, we ran team, man. I ran my clock out, he ran his clock out. I mean, he never was sitting up front there like Crazy Bags, monitoring what I was doing. As soon as his shift was over, he was out cold or, arguing with his old lady. Your nickname is Cockroach. My nickname, Well, I'll put it this way: my nickname in school was Burnout, because my first day of school, I can't remember if it was high school or junior high. I fell asleep in my in one of my classes right when I walked in. What's that? Oh, Dad's Adventure. Glad you're here. No notification, really. Some people got it, some people didn't. Wait a minute. I know you can't believe they won't let you. It's a new policy because that guy that killed all those people taking his truck home, his old lady pissed him off, and he's like, okay, that's it. Everyone's got to pay for it. And I went to the higher ups. I mean, I didn't just take no for an answer from my fleet manager. I went to his boss. I went to the other guy's boss. I went to leasing. I went everywhere, and everything was the same. No, 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 no. You're right. Yeah, running like that is, you're right, is not training. Because, I mean, technically it could be if you said, all right, you know, they're already in TNT and you sat with them for a couple weeks and they're doing good. It's like, okay, go ahead and run the miles. I'm going to, you know, sleep, and so I can do the miles. Wake me up if you have any problems at any time. I was told, you do not wake me up unless you can't figure it out or you're in a situation where you're screwed. Otherwise, figure it out and don't wake me up. So I was, and you know, with how excited he was getting, I was afraid to wake him up. It only takes one. Same thing with Walmart. That accident with Tracy Morgan changed everything there. Yeah. Well, rental car is going to be about, well, you can get, I think you get like 10% off with, you know, if you guys don't know, if you go to your Prime portal on the app, there's a section with discounts or something. You get discounts at the restaurants over there, and you get discounts with a rental car. But a rental car, I believe, is going to be like $30 a day or something like that. I think you can get a little shit box for that. But still, 4 days, 30, 60, 120, that's not bad. But then you still, yeah, you need to take it back and pick it up. Unless you could do that Hertz thing, and maybe they can pick you up, they can deliver you the car at the terminal. Oh, but you know what? I'm not making any money that week. So it's, I can't be spending no 160, 200 bucks. I rented a car from Kansas City Airport and drove home when I was in TNT, and it was like 250 bucks or something like that to go one way. I've done 610 miles or something, but on the average, this week I drove crap because just the way it is. But on average, I like to do over 500 miles, depending on how far I'm going. Like if I've got a 3-4 day run, I'll try to do 500 miles a day at least. Usually I do 550. Where the hell am I looking at here? Oh, 8 day. Yeah, see. Here I ran 542, 589, 483, and then it tapers off from there. I've had 354, 290, 112, 330, and 178 today. So as you see, it died off, but I still have a potential of making a decent check. The 542, 588, 43, that's going to be last paycheck. I should be getting the settlement. Oh, I should already have the settlement in my Gmail to see what I actually made. Yeah, it only takes one. But see, running the TNT phase as a company driver, it isn't as sweet as a lease driver. You get, I forgot what it is, but you get like an extra mile. You get an extra cents per mile that you split with the TNT. I can't remember how they described it, but you'll make more money. It's just not, like lease. You're basically doubling your money because you're getting jobs done in half the time. Done quicker and make more money. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Sure, you got to figure some shit out on your own, but do you really want to be on some guy's truck for months and months? Yeah, that's true. Yes, dads, but not as soon as the student gets in the truck. Intimidating instruction is not good instructions. You're right. You're right. So most upgrades are short trucks. You mean lightweight? No, if you're going to be a solo company driver, they want to put you in a lightweight, but you can tell them you want a condo. You can tell them you want a condo. They'll give you a condo. You're going to make 5 cents less a mile, but you can definitely go in a condo. You might have to wait a day or two longer to get one. Maybe. When I got my condo truck, it took a day and a half before she called me and said, "Oh, we got you a truck." But she told me that it was probably going to take a week, and but it took a day and a half. And to get this truck, it was sitting there waiting for me when I came in. I think my fleet manager, said, "Hey, he's coming in on this day. We need a truck there," to where they won't hold a truck. You got to be there when they call you and say they got a truck for you. I only live 30 miles away, so I was like, okay, I'll be there in a minute, and I, drove in. Yeah, Enterprise picks you up, but like I said, I'm already stretching it thin, not getting any, because they don't pay you for that week you're off. So I have to, I have to come out of pocket for that. Yeah, that's the other thing. You just tell them that you're going to be taking your wife sometimes, and they'll give you a condo. But you can just ask for one. All right, guys. Well, I think it's time to call it. I'm tired. I got to get some sleep, and I want to watch a movie before I get some sleep. But that's what we're going to do. Plus, I need to look up the weather for my ride to Arkansas. I would definitely go lightweight if you're thinking about it first before you go condo, because you won't get all that extra stuff when you go lightweight the first time. I highly recommend going lightweight. Now that I did it, I highly recommend it. I'm going to take a 5-cent cut training a mile, which, sucks. But they won't let you train in a condo. They said that the guy can't sit on your, or I would be sitting on the microwave. All right, man. Good night, guys. We'll talk to you later.